Hello, hello, and welcome to another stream here at World of Tanks Modern Armor. I am Tankz0rz, and I'm here with Mr. Bam. How you doing, Mr. Bam?
I am doing wonderful. Tankz0rz, how are you? How is the community doing this week?
Fantastic. I see a lot of smiling faces here in chat, so happy to see everyone. A little dinosaurs as usual.
I do not have I can see the little dino balloon in my room. For some reason, it's still lingering around, but did not have it ready to go for stream debut. Maybe next time.
But speaking of Bam things, I received a little message on Discord from one of our players here, and he discovered something. He was playing lower tier games. It was tier 2, tier 3, and there was a bot in there with a specific name. Let me know in chat if you've seen this bot. This bot was called Number One Bam Fan. You familiar with this Number One Bam Fan?
Our secret sleuth, Nick G. You guys probably remember that name. Our lead systems designer. Yes, he is the one who comes up with all the wacky, creative, and a lot of dev name nods to the bot names in the game. So, and I will also tell you, a lot of the bot names, we don't actually see them from like a design perspective until we go into playtest, and we like, wait a second, that's a new name.
Yeah, right now, actually, as I was explaining this situation, another message here came through on YouTube. George says, we need some info on this Number One Bam Fan. So there we have it. Awesome.
One of the funny things we've been talking about, here's just like a design ideation thing that we'd love to do one day in the game for bots specifically. We've always talked about the possibility of adding like personality or archetypes to the bots themselves, so that like anytime you would see, I guess, Number One Bam Fan, right, he would have a certain play style or a certain class of tank in certain ways, just to help create a variety and a bit of an understanding of like, when you're playing the game, you see certain bots, you're like, oh, that guy, he likes to play more sneaky and
right. Listen, well, if we ever do these archetypes that you're speaking of, and if we ever do add a Tankz0rz one, keep in mind I always like to fall off cliffs, so maybe that'll be my archetype. Falling over and being upside down. But that's pretty cool to hear. So anyways, we're here to talk about all tank related things, so why don't we go ahead and jump straight into what we have to talk about this week.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody, you probably already know what time it is and how far along we've come in the heavy metal season. Yes, and this might very well be the stream that we debut maybe new season, new content, new tanks. That being said, yes, heavy metal season is coming to a close this Tuesday. So this is last chance reminder. We try to, of course, keep you guys in the loop. And if you haven't already made it all the way to your level 100 reward, or haven't collected all those final stages for rewards, this weekend and up through Monday will be your final chance. So yeah, be sure to jump into those battles, collect those points, and wrap up the season in style.
I hate to derail us here, but notice a comment asking, "Hey, well, what about the weather?" It's a nice 69 degrees here in Chicago, or 20 in Celsius, and it's gonna be a little rainy in later part of the evening. So cool and rainy.
Yeah, for the first time in a while, I got my all my windows open in the house, letting some cool breeze and
get that fresh air in,
Yeah. And saves me from having to water all the bushes outside, because I've been neglecting that. Once in a while, my lawn isn't looking too great.
But I digress. It is the last chance to grab some of your extra points, so go ahead and do that if you haven't so already.
All right.
Next up, we have Service for Poland's Victory. Running until October 1st. The event is for celebrating 85 years of Poland's first resistance movement. And there will be special sales and discounts, which include tank sales for the Pudol, the CS52 LIS, the 50 TP prototype, the KS ZN-KM 20mm, along with some commanders as well. All discounted at 50% off for Edmund Ulrich, Edward Ludwig, Stansclaw, Warclaw, and Wojtek. So if you were interested in any of those tanks or commanders, go ahead and check that out as well.
Awesome. And hey, shout out to our Polish player community. If you guys are out there, let your names be known. Also up next, running up until Tuesday, we have our free XP Fest. Boost your free XP gains with discounted free XP boost bundles and a range of tanks that will also be available for free XP. Not going to go down the full list, but I'll read off some of the more attractive premiums on this list, including the Vanguard ELC Even, the Skoda T56, the Concept 1B, the T95 E6, the Centauro CC 45 tons, the M636 Condor, the M60A1 Rise, Thumper, and plenty more. And in addition to go along with our free XP Fest, we also have various free XP booster bundles ranging between 25%, 35%, and 50% off of varying quantities of free XP boosts. So check it out in a World of Tanks Modern Armor store tab near you.
Awesome, awesome. We also have free XP booster bundles as well, running until Tuesday, which is 25% off 5 free XP boosters, as well as Mr. Bam. I'm having a little trouble with this little diagram here. What am I looking at?
No problem. Let's transition. Let's see. On tracks.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, on tracks. Yeah, we covered the free XP boosts. The Sturv 103B, we had that one come out just this past Tuesday. If this, of course, is a tank line you guys haven't started yet, now is the time. This will be running up until October 7th. As per usual, there will be a 25% boost XP on every battle along the Sturv 103B line. And of course, discounts for purchasing the tanks themselves in the tech tree. 50% off the IKV 72, the SAV M43, IKV 103, and the IKV 65 Alt 2. And then lastly, of course, you guys know the drill, 30% off the higher tiers of the line. That is the IKV 90 Type B, the UDES 03, Sturv 103O, and the Sturv 103B. So check it out, On Track Sturv 103B, live now until October 7th.
Then just a couple days left, up to September 30th, we have weekly sales for the 30% off the STRV M42 57 Alt A2, the FV 1066 Senlac, the FV 4201, and the T95 E1, along with some weekly deals of 10 4X Commander XP boosters, 10 3X Commander boosters, XP boosters at 57% off. Then we have super savings of Idun, the Mythological Commander.
Ooh.
The Stark STRV S1 at 50% off, and the Stark K also at 50% off.
Excellent. And yeah, that will be running through September 30th. And I believe, Tankz0rz, I think that's a wrap on our content. I know it's been a bit of a light week. Well, I think that might be because we have a fairly exciting week coming Tuesday. Tankz0rz, what's up next?
Well, I have a little video queued up here to show our fans. talking about the cooler weather, it might be a little spooky. So we'll just let it roll and let you see it for yourselves.
Roll the tapes.
Let us feast! Even in darkness, I can see them tremble. And now we feast upon them.
An unholy menace stalks these grounds. To arms! Let us show these foul creatures how it feels to be hunted. Together, we will hunt down every monster.
Let them try their wooden stakes now. To battle, my minions. What a cozy vehicle! Just like my coffin.
There we have it. Darkness Rising, our new season here at World Tanks. What do you think, Mr. Bam? Is it spooky?
Spooky enough. I love also the key art here. You can see it behind me if I duck, if you want a better look at the awesome artwork our concept team and designers have put together. Fantastic work there. This is, of course, always the favorite season, not just for us internally on the dev, on the live ops, publishing side of things, but we know you guys are also looking forward to our spooky Halloween season content and so much more. And you don't need to wait much longer. Darkness Rising coming this Tuesday. Really quick, Tankz0rz.
Yep.
Do we do giveaways on this stream? Is that a thing around?
It's something we're known to do from time to time. This is a new season, however, so I think the time is right.
Then I tell you what, let's do not one, but two ultimate season passes for the Darkness Rising to some lucky winners.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and drop that link in chat and click on the link. You'll be eligible for our giveaways, 2 ultimate season passes. Give us your Wargaming ID and you'll be all set.
All right. Really quick, before we get into the nitty-gritty of all the season details, because I know there was a lot of stuff shown on that trailer, we do have a lot of talking points to get to here, and I saw questions coming up as they fly by into the chat. But really quick, did you guys notice the new World of Tanks Modern Armor logo? We are doing a rebranding for the Modern Armor. It's an intent to reinforce our identity with the World of Tanks family, staying true to the game you love with a fresh new look. And there we have it on screen now.
Looking fresh, looking snazzy. I love it.
And to celebrate this occasion, all players will receive 1 set of vouchers of our new Modern Armor 2024 themed camouflage upon login.
I like how you asked if our keen-eyed viewers had noticed the logo, because right before we went live, they were like, "Hey, is that a new logo? Hey, is that a new logo?"
Oh, I missed those comments.
Yeah.
You guys are eagle-eyed. Nothing gets past you guys.
Yep.
All right.
So with this new season, Mr. Bam, what kind of brand new tanks can our players expect to see?
Yeah. So you saw it in the trailer, the Engesa EE T1 Osorio. This is an Era 3 independent medium tank, our first Brazilian Cold War tank. This is the second prototype of the Osorio, which mounts the 120 millimeter gun. And a little bit more history on this. Despite performing well in its trials, being compared to the M1 Abrams and the Charlie II, and piquing the interest of Saudi Arabia as a potential export vehicle. The export project eventually failed. Saudi selected the M1 Abrams, and this contributed the Engessa's bankruptcy. But also, in addition with the Osorio, comes with it its unique skin, the Urban Armadillo. Oh yeah, here we go. Have it on screen now. This unique skin, the Urban Armadillo, will be unlockable to everybody at the level 120 of the season pass if you own it.
Awesome.
And then our other season, Ultimate Season Pass tank here, the Cannon Jagdpanzer III GST Term. For our World War II audience, this is a Tier 10 German tank destroyer. Whilst both of the variants of the KPZ-3 GST had hydropneumatic suspension and magazine reloading systems, the Term here has a limited traverse where the crew was located at. It was thought that this would be a very fast combat vehicle with powerful frontal armor and a high rate of fire. However, even the Leopard 2 line was chosen to be further developed. Just like the Osorio, this one also comes with its own tank skin, the head first, and this will be available in the unlock with the standard Ultimate Season Pass. Oh, I'm sorry. It comes as standard on purchase of the Ultimate Season Pass. And there we have it up on screen now.
Looking spooky as always with them fantastic jack-o'-lanterns in front. Love it. You said that was the Cannon Jagdpanzer variant?
3 GST Term, yes.
Right.
It is surprisingly quick for a Tier 10 TD. So give that one a try. Again, coming out on Tuesday with the release of the Ultimate Season Pass for Darkness Rising. We do have some other tank rewards, some returning premium tanks. And I think we have a whole rewards infographic to share here on screen.
Before we jump straight into that, you made mention, I just want to double check real quick, that there's a new camo that players are receiving, a voucher.
Oh, do we have an image for that?
We do. Thanks to our handy dandy Mr. Max Chaos, I got a nice little image. So you can look forward to this.
Very nice.
Logging in.
Slick.
Thank you very much. All right. So we said we have other rewards. We have a little infographic here to show. Do that right up.
Downloading infographics.
Sometimes these infographics are so cool they take a little while to load up. So here we go.
There we go. Nice breakdown of the season rewards here. Some of the tanks that you guys can get. Again, these are the premium returning tanks. The KV-4 KTTS. This is, of course, the Tier 8 Soviet TD, and comes with the multi-turret mechanic. The Loza M4A2 Sherman, the Tier 6 Soviet medium, and lastly, the NM116 Panzerjäger, Tier 8 American TD.
Very good. Also, I see a little 3D commander here of Felix as well included, so well-rounded overall for sure. Mr. Bam, in the video that we showed, I think I saw something about a returning map.
Yes, I do apologize to the players because I think I have fallen off the bandwagon of giving you guys the map hints leading up to season launches, and it just turned into like, well, here it is. Here's the next map coming into the foray here. Yes, to your point, Tankz0rz, Wide Park is making its triumphant return into World of Tanks. This will remain a World War II specific map. This is a smaller scale map for our veterans that remember this one when it was once in the game some time ago. This will be restricted to to tank tiers 3 through 8. It's 600 meters by 600 meters, one of the smallest maps in the game itself. And of course, as you might expect, hosting standard battle, team destruction, encounter, and assault. And we do also have it set up for multi-base assault, available only in custom games. And as the images should show, if you're curious by any means what sort of camouflage factor works in this map, it's urban. Surprise, surprise.
You know, it's funny, leading up to, you know, our return of Wide Park, I kept often trying to make a joke and saying, hey, let's play Wide Park, you know, on our Tuesday streams. And I'm like, wait, don't say that word. It's coming right around the corner.
Wait, did you say you did say that?
No, I didn't. I often wanted to, but I was like, wait, I can't joke about that because it actually is coming soon.
Comment here, add Wide Park for Era 3. Son of Jeff Gregg? I mean, if that's what the players want, if you want Wide Park in Era 3, I will tell a designer to get on it right now.
Right now.
I will tell you, we did play test at least a single match in Cold War. It was fairly clear this is not a viable map in Cold War.
I would imagine that, like, within, you know, the match starting, you're already across the map and in the enemy base, so.
Within seconds.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have here to offer? Any balance passes or anything along that way?
We do have various, well, we'll get into that one, because that's an interesting one, yes? Balance passes. Let's touch on various UI updates coming with Darkness Rising. First up here, tech tree flags. And I think we have an asset to show here on stream. There we go. A big change for the season will be within the tech trees themselves. Full-size flags are being added there into the tech tree up at the top to show a little bit more visibility and understanding in terms of what nation you are actually within. It's a small thing, of course, but it helps just in general navigation and, you know, cleaning up our UI, of course. In addition, another tech tree related update. We got another image to show you here. When selecting a tank, a smaller menu will now pop up, which includes options to research and purchase, as well as checking the details. And this can also bring up the detailed stats of the selected tank when setting to preview the vehicle. Up next, here we have it. This was a user community requested filter. Marks of Excellence, new filter added to your options here. Players will now be able to filter their tanks to only show the tanks that have Marks of Excellence currently applied to them. This will show all tanks with marks regardless of which mark you have, 1, 2, 3, or the golden 4. Up next, another community requested feature here on the MVP screen. After each match, you will now be able to see not just this cleaner look of the UI there itself, but now featuring your commanders there on screen as well. We took note to make sure these did not obscure the tanks themselves, but we also wanted to hear the community when they wanted to see that their 2D commanders can be represented, and so we have them present there just above the UI bar. Let's see, up next we have our commander submenus. This is a new submenu, very similar to the design that we just shared on the Tankz tech tree. This submenu for commanders, you will now be able to skip a step and go directly to a commander submenu, whether you want to go directly into the skills, tank assignment, customization, directly from the commander's screen. And this menu will also allow you directly into the recruitment page too. There's the other, the submenu as well. Just making the access and usability through the menus a little bit more cleaner and more streamlined. And hold on, sorry, I'm looking at a thumbnail on my screen.
This is the stats page.
Oh, the stat page filters, yes. So another user requested feature, tank stat pages and having some filters there. Very similar. You guys know this filter in the garage. We have now added this into the stat page for you guys to quicker isolate the stats for the tanks you specifically want to view.
Some cool UI changes. I definitely see a couple people here in chat appreciating that. I think that they're pretty awesome. So.
And I know that it's been a long time coming. A lot of these things, I try my best to be tight-lipped. You know, oftentimes in the Q&As, you guys are asking, when is this feature coming? When's the MOE filters kind of coming? It's like, we like to save these surprises to go along with big season launches, of course. So I know you don't always like hearing about, well, we're thinking about it, can't give any exacts. A lot of it is because some of these things are already in place or in actions, or some things are still very much in debate and need further conversations and follow-ups. But in any case, we're always happy to showcase, you know, the things that you guys request and finally bring them to attention. So hopefully a lot of these UI updates that we just shared with you guys were items you were certainly looking forward to.
And just as a reminder, if anyone's just tuned in, we have a giveaway running for an Ultimate Season Pass for a brand new season, Darkness Rising. So if you'd like to enter for a chance to win your very own Ultimate Season Pass, go ahead and click on that link and give us your Wargaming ID. All right. Now, Mr. Bam, I jumped the gun, but is it time for the Balance Pass?
It is time for the Balance Pass, yes. I know players have been asking for well, let me back up here. Various balance requests have been coming through from you guys for the past few seasons. And we started this with our the season back in May. I'm forgetting the name of that season. But from the dev side, we had moved into an initiative to start taking a look nation by nation, mode per mode, doing balance passes to various tech tree tanks. So if you can recall, we did a lot of the smaller nations first because it was a quicker thing to get into iteration and into playtest. But we had always planned to touch upon the larger nations as well. And this round, with the release of the Darkness Rising, we will have over 170 tanks receiving balance updates across the US line, the UK, and the Soviet tech trees. Some of those tanks, we'll kind of touch upon a little bit of these, include the Object 277, changes to its terrain resistances, its turrets, and some updated physics and repair costs. The Double Tap TS-54 is receiving some updates. Centurion Mark I, that one's getting some various turret reload times, accuracy changes, and rotation speed changes. All of these items, of course, I'm not going to go down the list because it's going to be easier for you guys to view on our portal page when that goes live later. But we also have 16 Era 1 Cold War tanks also being updated in the Darkness Rising. Wanted to make sure we didn't forget about you Cold War folks. And just want to stress, we are still moving forward with more tank rebalancing in future updates. So our mission isn't quite done yet. Again, we're talking about a game of a literal world of tanks, 1,000 tanks in the game. That takes a lot of time to do these balanced passes. So we're trying to deliver them in nice chunks every given season. And this time around, 170 World War II and 16 Cold War Era 1 tanks, including IS-4M, and the FV-4005 is also receiving some changes. Again, you guys can look forward to the stats, those updates in our support notes in the portal after the stream.
Very good, very good. Other than our balance passes that you could read more on our article coming up, we also have a new event this weekend.
Yes. Do you want to read this one?
No, I was going to say, tell us a little bit about these other events next week.
Yes, sir. We have some new war chest refreshes for the private sergeants as well as the general chest tiers, where you can unlock yourself tanks such as the Chieftain Hybrid 120, the Type 80, the Terrapin Mark 1, the Caliban, and the Kampf Panzer 07. These will be available within the different chests. We also have various sales. We got the Garage Gems. This will be available all throughout the month of October till the 29th. 15% off these tanks, including the T100, Leopard 1A1, the Magach 5, Rheinmetall Scorpion, the Low, and the Panzerkampf for Schmalturm. Then we also have our wallet savers. These will be available midway through the month till October. Oh, I thought that was the 17th. Okay, this is available for the first week of the month through October 7th. 30% off the MBT 70 and 30% off the ISU 130.
We also have weekly deals available through October 7th, which include 20 3X XP boosters. Really quickly too, I saw a comment in chat asking, what is the gigabit size for our update? Like, do we have a ballpark? Ballpark, it's going to be slightly over 1 gig, so you can look forward to that.
Excellent. That's a good call out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Up next,
Mr. Bam, what else is on our roadmap coming down the line?
Sure. Just speaking strictly on October, of course. You guys saw a little bit of the hints of them in the trailers, of course. Yes, new spooky, scary tanks coming soon. We'll have more details to share on that, as well as our Awakened Monster Mash mode next week, October 11th, to delve more into details there.
Awesome. And that about wraps up what we have to talk about for what's coming on the line next week. So why don't we go ahead and remind players here about our giveaway. I see some people were asking ultimate season passes for our new season. Go ahead and click on the link if you haven't done so already. Other than that, I think it's time for our Q&As. Mr. Bam.
Sure thing. And KB is correcting me. I looked at the October 11th as like, oh yeah, that's next week already. I'm losing track of time. 2 weeks time, we'll have more news to share on the Monster Mash and Awakened mode. Thank you, KB.
Oh, very good. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump straight into our questions here. With the T110E4 being so dominant amongst others, but being a tech tree tank, can we consider matching the gun behavior to the T58 minus the autoloader? Sitting at 750 alpha combined with heat would mean that it has offsets of less velocity and chance to be absorbed by spaced armor and tracks alike, making it a little bit more fair to compete against.
So no plans currently to update the T110E4, but Tank Design is actively monitoring this one, so TBD. Nothing to really go on that one at this time.
All right. Next question is the Czech-Romanian line going to be finished anytime soon? Additionally, is Sweden/Japan coming to Cold War?
We do plan to release new tech tree lines to continue filling out the various tech trees that are like either incomplete or acknowledging that there are tech trees that are not present in the game. You guys, of course, have proposed a lot of tech trees or have noted tech trees even on WoT PC. All things we're keeping an eye on, things that we are considering. It's all just a matter of time. No exacts, no dates that we can give, of course, at this time.
Next question is, why does a 25 TP have a faster reload than the DS PZ-SINZ? It is the same gun, but there is about a 1.2 second difference in loading times.
This comes down specifically to the game balance. If you consider a lot of different modules that can be added on impact how well a tank performs. So when directly comparing the two, the 25 TP actually needs a better fire rate to improve its overall performance.
Next question. Why do the Era 2 and Era 3 Bradleys have different rates of fire for autocannons? Is this intentional, or do we have a significant they have a significant increase in fire rate in Era 2?
Well, so the Era 3 M3A2 Bradley has the rate of fire as it does due to just being in Era 3. This is done as a progression and balance, so the vehicles are competitive against what they are fighting. The Era 2 Bradley only received half of its historical loadout, which is 150 rounds, of ready boxes of ammunition instead of what should be expected of the 300 that is present in the Era 3 Bradley, just because it was placed into the lower era in terms of gameplay balance and, like I said earlier, the progression.
Next question is stating that PC just added dual autocannon light tanks without ATGMs. Is this something that we could potentially see in Cold War? It would be a nice addition to the landscape.
Well, I mean, right now we do currently have two dual autocannons in the game. The MTLS-1G14 that's present in World War II, and of course the little bit more lesser owned one, the Armadillo in Cold War. That used to be part of our G.I. Joe collab content some years back. We have more coming soon as part of our Celebrations Challenge reward. For those of you that were with us and tuning in maybe during our Tank Fest stream, we have hinted and showcased, I believe it was the M42 Duster, perhaps? So the chance is fairly high that you'll see us continue to add more things along as players are enjoying them. Stay tuned.
Alrighty, next question here. Are we planning to add Polish Tankz0rz to the tech tree soon?
Coming in a future update, but simply not that soon. Tank design and production is on it.
Will we add new maps suitable for Cold War?
We are always actively looking into more maps and viable World War II maps that work into the Cold War ecosystem. I know I have touched on this at least a few times in the past, because we know World War II has plentiful of maps of varying kind of play styles, etc. And in Cold War, gameplay really needs larger maps to play well in, due to the higher speeds, of course, and true vision. We are actively working on maps internally. As a matter of fact, the community map, if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, this is available in custom games for you to try out. We also have a Discord channel still going. If you have feedback on the map, we are digging into those to help, make updates to the map itself. The community map is was designed in mind for Cold War map rotation. So, and we do have more maps coming soon, even later this year. I know we're only 3 months out till the end of the year, but there is one more map coming this year that is very much Cold War in mind.
Awesome, awesome. Next question here is, could the French Super Heavies with a multi-turret function be the next console exclusive, a World War II branch akin to the Sturmtiger?
Nothing to note on that at this time, but maybe stay tuned.
Do we plan to add new advanced options to customize the sensitivity of joysticks, i.e. dead zones, acceleration, curves, etc.?
Not currently. Unfortunately, I'll also say this never really came up as something for us to dive a little bit deeper into, because we've always maintained a fair set of control options and gameplay that we firmly believe have a optimal setup with our kind of sensitivity. Now, whether we want to change that into the future, to be debated upon, but at least from my standpoint, I don't see it much from the community in terms of desire for advanced customization of joystick, dead zone, sensitivity, sliders, etc. If it is something that is of value and of interest, we'll kind of look into it, but it has not been put onto our docket.
Next question here is it possible to put a 5v5 mode in Platoon in order to give more interest for clan play?
We've touched upon this a little bit, and hey, I get it. I know people ask for, like, hey, can we increase platoon sizes from 3-man to 4 or 5, etc. Again, we've dialed it down to 3-man platoons over the years because this leads to better and more fair matches, and easier on the matchmaker to help pair 3-man platoons on either sides of the teams. Increasing it up to 5-man platoons, I mean, you're talking about a third of any given team kind of, being able to coordinate and work together, which, yes, is great. I am very much for social dynamic play with friends, etc. But coordination like that does lead to more steamrolls and just kind of unbalanced matches. And that's more probably my bad summarization of how we landed on 3-man platoons. No plans to change that specifically for random battles and multiplayer mode. But yes, it has come up, and we have been talking about, can we do something like that maybe for co-op mode? Or can we do something like that for event battles? This is something that we are actively talking about. Can't make any promises. Just know myself, various other designers, these are things that we would love to see into the game. We're always juggling and spinning multiple plates at the same time, prioritizing other needs to make sure we meet our milestones and deliverables. We will see. I hope to give you guys an update on this in the future. Feel free to keep asking that question, because I mean, we know it's of interest and it is something that we are thinking on, but in terms of when we can actually bring it into the game, TBD.
Next question here. Are there still plans to make slightly smaller versions of Cold War only maps? For example, Cao Bing, Desful, Mannheim, and Fred Vang, so that we could play those in a World War II mode? Or alternatively, are there any plans to add these maps without any changes into the current World War II mode, maybe a few times a year, like a limited time for a week or something like that? Our players would love to play some of these maps in World War II as well.
Okay, let's touch on that a little bit. Let's talk about adding the current ones. Again, Desful, Mannheim, Fred Vang, those Cold War specific maps, bringing them into World War II. Again, these are 1.4 kilometer squared maps, a lot larger. Our largest maps that we have in World War II are 1.2 kilometer. Very open to the idea, and I think I even floated this on stream before too. If there is interest, yes, we can run like maybe a week-long, weekend-long test where we add those Cold War maps into rotation for a limited time. They absolutely will not be a permanent mainstay. So that's just on the matchmaker and adding them into the rotation for a small limited time. to your other point of your question, are we making smaller versions of those maps? Internally, we actually have variants of these maps, in fact, where we did bring in the borders, dialing in from like a 1.4 kilometers to maybe 1.2 or even 1 kilometer squared. Some of the maps, when we did some testing, like, okay, it's smaller. You can actually get across the map now in some slower tanks as opposed to when it was bigger. But the gameplay in certain regards just didn't lend itself too well. Whether it's some maps that have steeper elevation that didn't work too well with the terrain resistances and the speeds that World War II tanks can really get. So we kind of had to go back to the drawing board. And then with a lot of our other map plans, as we're starting to look at like maybe WoT PC, trying to import some of their maps, doing more work on the community maps, etc. The work that we did do on the Cold War reduction of the borders got shelved for a little while. If it is something of interest, again, asking the community, if you guys would like to see maybe smaller versions of the Cold War maps, that's something we can put back on the drawing board, revisit, and see about playtesting a little bit more internally, get some feedback from super testers, and see for viability of those maps coming to World War II. All that said, lately, because we know Cold War needs more maps, a lot of our focus has been delivering on maps to help create more breadth of map content in the Cold War, and that's another reason why World War II, trying to add those maps in there, got more or less lower priorities and shelved.
Next question here. When can we get premium ATGM light tanks for general sales again, or discounts? Because I missed the opportunity to buy them last time they were released.
No dates to give right now, but I mean, we do have regular sales and discounts happening during events. So eventually they'll be back on sale. Keep an eye, tune into our portal, tune into Discord or our socials, tune in here on stream. Eventually we'll be announcing some more sales on some ATGM light tanks.
Can the unique camos have the seasonal assignments removed? For example, instead of receiving a single voucher for summer, winter, desert, urban, etc., you're given 4 or 5 or whatever generic vouchers that can be redeemed for any season instead.
This is something, actually, shout out Mr. SPG. I know you and I have talked about this a little bit and have been thinking about, if this is a direction we take camouflage and vouchers in a new direction in certain ways. There is technical hurdles that we'd have to solve here. All that said, like, we're not saying no, also no promises, but it's a good idea. And it's just something we're always spinning multiple plates, seeing about where it lands in terms of priorities. And one day it could be made a reality. Stay tuned on that one.
Next question here. It says, hey, now that we have the Mars rover event, is it possible to have more space tank related events? For example, maybe including a USSR Mars event tank / premium, so we can have a event eventually called the space race, or maybe even add a mercenary to that could represent the EU. Something just to think out. Ace out.
Ace out. Why do I feel like this individual got a hold of emails or something, or some leaked conversations? Aim for Ace. Hey, shout out, sir. This is an idea that we've been kind of talking about as well, trying to define the gameplay a little bit more fun in the Mars mode, etc. And yes, it might even be time to introduce a new space tank into there as well. Heck, we were even talking about, after the mode had kind of come out, a little bit of a post-mortem, that if time had been a little bit more available to us, like maybe it would have been cool to add the Star Trek emissary tank as a playable tank in the Mars mode itself, with its own different mechanics in certain ways. So this is all just brainstormy, exploratory ideas, etc. For Mars mode in the future, just know, we are kind of talking about what can we do to reinvigorate it in good ways, if it's even worth the time to kind of spend on it. Space race, love the idea. We'll make sure the designers are kind of made aware of that one, especially. And we will see. We will see.
Awesome. Next question here is asking, hey, how are the wheeled vehicles cooking? Also, there's a second part to this. Will it be possible to maybe be able to paint different parts of your tank in different camouflages, maybe in the future, far future?
Okay, so 2 parts. Let's kick off the wheeled vehicles. Unfortunately, well, let me not start with that term. We are still working on the tool itself. That's been the more or less hurdle for why we aren't delivering more wheeled vehicles into the game. There's a whole physics component that we need to have a tool to develop and help output values and data for us that we can work with. So that's kind of at the forefront of our tools engineering team to continue development on that tool. We are making continued progress on it. No ETAs that we can give at this time, but just know wheeled vehicles are very much on our minds as it is your own. Now, in terms of the second question was more options for customizing paint or being able to paint different parts of the tanks themselves. Also things we're talking about internally, just offering more personalization that players can have on their tanks. We'd love to have that as well. This is another larger technical hurdle for us to kind of revamp the system in new ways. Just know there's a lot of us very much in favor of this. It will be some time if this is a feature we can deliver on. So again, not saying no, but also not promising it will happen, but we want to be able to offer you guys better personalization options.
Very good. Awesome. Next question here is, can we get more tier 10 tanks in Era 1 for the future?
Okay. Yeah, taking more World War II tanks and adding them as a tech tree line of some sorts into Era 1 and so forth, right? We have been talking about this one. Keep an eye on future updates, I will say that much. Here's kind of the sentiment behind why it's been a while since the last time we have done any sort of transition of current existing World War II tanks into Cold War. Because we know when Cold War first launched into our game itself, we had quite a number of high-tier tanks as your starter tanks into Cold War. And we know we heard the player base, and there was a sentiment about like, wow, wait a second, I already spent so much time working my way up the tech tree line and finally got my tier 10, and you're having me replay these tanks again to only get them again in Era 1. So for a time, we didn't want to really touch and bring more of those tanks on over, because we didn't want to create more upsets in that regards. However, if you guys recall earlier this year, with the Cold War economy adjustments we have done to help the early progression in Cold War, this had kind of opened up the opportunity again to relook at World War II tanks making that transition into Cold War. So again, stay tuned for future updates.
Next question here. On one of our previous streams, we mentioned that we were working on a new outline to be tested, similar to what PC has, or if it takes behind cover, then it's displayed. The user's asking, at what stage of implementation is this currently in our game?
Stage of implementation?
Yeah, like
very conceptual right now. It's just design documentation. We still have to have meetings on it, and then consider do we go the route that kind of WoT PC has? Do we adopt it into systems that may benefit more for our systems in game in certain ways? So it's going to be some time before it comes, but we know this is a community requested feature of improved outlines, and not even just like showcasing at what segments the tanks are kind of concealed by cover, but also thinking on some more accessibility options, thicker outlines, making it a little bit more visibly present on the outlines themselves. These are things that we're thinking on. Again, it's very conceptual at this time.
Next question here. The Rakten 2, Era 2 German Tankz0rz, regarding that tank, can the minimum arm distance be changed to something along the lines of 65 meters as it is only a missile tank? Also, increasing the missile speed wouldn't hurt, as this user feels that the missiles are a little bit slow to reach their targets.
We're still kind of analyzing, updates after our minimum arm distances, of course. Right now, I'll tell you, no changes coming in the Darkness Rising season, in particular to the distance changes of missiles. But we are going to continue to keep an eye on it. What I will tell you, and I don't have the data in front of me, I'm going off of what my tank designers have kind of put in here, that the tank right now is performing well in terms of damage output, kill, survivability. So we're not seeing glaring issues that it is suffering in gameplay, but we hear the players that this is a missile-only tank. Why is it restricted to 100 meters? We'll have follow-ups in terms of data and seeing about, again, we don't want to just adjust a single tank, but we also want to look at things a little bit more holistically and decide, okay, if we're adjusting this one, is there other tanks in the line or any other missile tanks that can also use some changes at the same time? So going to be some time before we revisit that one. Need more data.
All righty, Mr. Ben, what do you think about one more question here before we announce our giveaway winners for the Ultimate Season Pass for our brand new Darkness Rising season? All right, last question. Why is it that when I'm in queue for battle, the background image will sometimes be your tank in the garage, but at other times it's a silhouette of a tank?
Right. So this is the difference between queuing directly from the garage itself versus queuing when you press next battle from the post-battle results screen. So if you were to queue from the garage, the tank and the garage itself are already loaded and ready to show. But if you hit the next battle button while in the PBRS, post-battle results screen, then none of that data is actually loaded. Because what you'd be asking for is loading your garage in between the post-battle results and into the queue. And we want to get you guys right back into battle. So that's why we just kind of keep it as a static kind of tank image in the background. If the queue is fast enough, you might not even see anything. Sometimes when you queue in, especially from the post-battle results screen, it's just right into the map loading screen.
Awesome.
And that's the reasoning behind that one.
Well, thank you for the little informational segment there, because I also did not realize that as well. But Mr. Bam, I think it's time to pull our winners here for our giveaways.
Yes.
And I sent you one of our giveaway winners' names.
Yep. Okay, I got it here, ready to roll.
All right. If you would like to take it away, Mr. Bam, fingers crossed, everyone.
Drum roll. Okay, our first winner for the upcoming Darkness Rising Ultimate Season Pass, we have the Real Alex, ALX. The Real Alex, congratulations.
Congratulations, the Real Alex. And our second winner for the Ultimate Season Pass, our brand new Ultimate Season Pass, is the Prodigy 498. Congratulations, the Prodigy.
The Prodigy.
498. You are a lucky winner of our Ultimate Season Pass here today. I want to take one more look again at this fantastic art that you have in the background here for our new season.
Should I duck away, or do you have a nice clean screen?
I mean, we could do the duck away technique, but I do have a clean screen as well. So there we have a nice little spooky Halloween art for you. So something to look forward to. Just want to say thank you for everyone hanging out with us here today. We're gonna roll the trailer once again as we sign off, and we'll raid one of our community contributors. So if you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're gonna go say hello to one of our friends. For everyone else, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Let us feast! in darkness I can see them tremble. And now we feast upon them.
An unholy menace stalks these grounds. To arms! Let us show these foul creatures how it feels to be hunted. Together, we will hunt down every monster.
Let them try their wooden stakes now. To battle, my minions. What a cozy vehicle! Just like my coffin.